When you're part of a military family, you understand sacrifice and support. At American Public University, we honor your dedication by extending our military tuition savings to your extended family. Parents, spouses, legal partners, siblings, and dependents all qualify for APU's preferred military rate of just $250 per credit hour for undergraduate and master's level programs. American Public University. Value for the whole family. Learn more at apu.apus.edu/military.
This is Scott Becker with the first part of a series on mantras, concepts, and sayings that we use in business and life. So bear with us. These are 10 concepts and mantras. First, one concept we talk about with people often is that if you happen to get lucky and get wealthy, and not that you got lucky, you might have done it through skill, you might have done it through other ways, etc. You might have inherited it, you might have married into it, you might have done it yourself. I don't care, I don't know. All I can tell you is it takes tremendous discipline once you get wealthy to stay wealthy. That's mantra number one today. Mantra number two is, if you're ever working on any sort of project with a professional of any sort, whether it's a builder, a plumber, a lawyer, an accountant, anybody who's doing anything for you, always ask for a check up front or an estimate up front, and don't give sort of the open checkbook out there. So that's number two, is always ask for an estimate before starting a project of any sort, any type, just so you don't get surprised on the back end. Third, the economy will go up and down. The economy, at least the capital class economy, has been going up. The stock market has been going up. The working class economy is not so easy. It's somewhat challenging. Wages aren't going up that fast, and inflation continues to go up. So at some point, just because of the federal deficit reasons and federal spending will have to slow some, we will see some weakening of the economy. It's very important, as you see a weakening in the economy, to prioritize your spending as to what you think is absolutely critical, to go very easy on debt, and to understand your asset allocation and to maintain emergency funds. Those are our first three. The fourth one is a concept that as people get older, they understand all more acutely, and bear with me on this. And this is the concept of injuries, not illness. Whenever I think of a family member or relative or myself getting injured, in some ways, depending, of course, on what the injury is, you have to count your blessings that it's an injury, not an illness. Illnesses can be long-term. They can be daunting. They can cause death. So many people, as you get to a certain age, are struggling with illnesses. Be thankful and count your lucky stars if it's injuries, not illness. That's, I know, a business of life one versus a business or investment one. The fifth concept today is any business that you're in, if you're a professional service provider, you want to understand not just your profession, but the business that you're in and the landscape that you're in, and then apply it in that context. So we constantly think about knowing the business you're in and knowing your profession. Those are our first five concepts. Now I'll count down to five more. The next one is very similar to the last one. We talk about people practicing law, practicing business consulting, practicing software engineering. Whatever you do, you spend the first several years getting really good at your profession, whether it's engineering, being a physician, being a lawyer, being an accountant, whatever it is. And then as you mature and grow into that profession, you practice leadership. So you see this evolution from practicing law, your profession, accounting, being a physician, engineering, software engineering, whatever it is. But you sort of evolve from tasks in the profession to becoming what we think of as practicing leadership, not just the profession, but both. The next concept, and I think we're up to number 7, we've got 3 left after this one, is a Bill Gates phrase. I believe it comes from Bill Gates, which is invest like an optimist, like things will go well, but save like a pessimist. This means always make sure as you're investing that you're protecting your backside as well as looking for enough opportunities for growth and expansion in your capital and your assets too. So save like a pessimist, invest like an optimist. I love that. The 8th phrase we'll use today, and again, a couple of these are business of life phrases versus investing in financial phrases. And this is a concept that's been shared with me from multiple different sources. The concept is don't let the old man in. And this speaks to if you are, whatever age you are, if you ever stop exercising, stop moving, stop thinking, if you try and start again, it's infinitely harder each time you try and start again to get yourself back in the shape mentally or physically that you want to be in. So we think about this and think that the best advice you could have is not to let the old man in. We use that as a euphemism. To sort of not, yes, you have to rest and recover. Yes, you have to restore, rest, reflect, roadmap, rest, recover, thrive and recover, but you can't ever stop trying to do stuff, moving, acting, thinking, or the old man gets in and it makes it much harder to sort of to get yourself back on track where you want to be. The ninth concept, and we've only got two left in this podcast on mantras and thoughts, mantras and concepts. This comes from Jerry Seinfeld, and I love this. He says three core concepts: more meditation, more espresso, and more lifting weights. And he says those are his secrets to staying as young as he looks and he acts and how he's able to perform as he performs. So more meditation, more espresso, and keep on lifting weights. I see some great examples of that lifting weights side by side every day. Finally, the last concept is about businesses. And this mantra is change it, leave it, or accept it. Double down, stay the course, or abandon it. So whenever I'm working on a new business, I have to decide always, are we doubling down in that business? Are we just staying the course and doing what we're doing? Or are we abandoning the business? And those are the big choices, I think. I was thrilled this month on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Since we started accepting advertising, we had the biggest advertising month we've ever had. That's not going to be that much money, but still a huge move in the right direction. And another concept we use, I'll give it as PS, life is directional. And so it feels like that's moving in the right direction. And we are so thankful to Chanel Bunger, Jeremy Core, and all of our listeners on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast.